say our expressions of gratitude to everyone who's made this wonderful event possible. Before I begin to do that, I'd like to recognize and say how pleased I am that Chief Stacy LaForme of the Mississaugas of the New Credit has joined us today, and we're grateful for his attendance with us today. My colleague, Dr. Larry Greenfield, has already expressed great appreciation to you as the audience, as participants, as those who have inspired us, and all that we try to do with the Parliament of the World's Religions. And so I want to give a special shout out to audience members who've come from all over the world. We've had 7,500 plus of you here this week, and we're so pleased about that. Thank you so much. I want to say that the media has been with us throughout the week, and I'm so excited to say that there have been over 600 articles about the Parliament this week published in newspapers around the world. Let's give our media a hand. This could not have been possible without a huge team of people working to make it all possible, but I must begin with my colleague and my friend, Dr. Larry Greenfield, the Executive Director of the Parliament of the World's Religions. Larry, I appreciate so much about Larry, his vast experience, his theological wisdom, his personal integrity, and his close friendship. It's been a joy to work with Larry Greenfield. It's been unusual for an American Baptist and a cooperative Baptist to have the privilege of working with people from so many different religious traditions and spiritual traditions. And we depart from our leadership at the end of this year with gratitude for our experience with the Parliament of the World's Religions. Is Larry with us? A hand for Larry. I want to call to the stage and recognize first our wonderful Board of Trustees from the Parliament of the World's Religions. And would you please make your way to the stage as I'm talking about what you've contributed. These trustees, approximately 30 trustees from many different religions, many cultural and ethnic and national and linguistic backgrounds, have proven time and time again their wisdom and their good hearts. They've served as our MCs, as our presenters in so many sessions. They've sought resources, they've solved problems that have arisen. They have been enthusiastic encouragers to the rest of us who are working behind the scenes. And these are your Parliament trustees from the Parliament of the World's Religions. Any committee members, task force committee members who have not been trustees, but who have worked for this, along with these good folk. If you're here and you want to make your way to the stage, we welcome you to come and join us volunteers who have joined the Parliament in its work. Please come now. Turn and recognize our Toronto partners. Every time we get ready for a Parliament, it is exciting to think about what magnificent city and group of people we will have the privilege to be among. And we were so excited 3 years ago when we realized that we would have the chance to be in Toronto, the most diverse city in the world according to the United Nations. Toronto was not only a magnificent city, it had much to teach the world about diversity and the appreciation of difference. and we became acquainted with a wonderful group of Canadian partners who have been steadfast in their efforts for our work together. I would like to recognize at this time the Board of Directors for the Toronto 2018 Parliament, and they have been chaired by Zul Kasamali and by Dr. Karen Hamilton. Zul has been the president and is the president of the Toronto Interfaith Council, the Multicultural Council of Ontario. He's the honorary captain of the Toronto Police Department. He's an Ismaili Muslim leader. Zul, would you come and recognize those who've worked with you, say a word of thanks? And unfortunately, Dr. Hamilton could not be with us this morning, but Zul and Karen have been good partners. Zul, if you'll come forward.
May I request all the board members of the Toronto Board of Trustees to be on the stage. John Joseph. First of all, I would like to appreciate, acknowledge, and give my gratitude to Rob Salas and Larry Brentfield, who were kind enough to endorse my appointment. Originally, they asked me to be the chair for the board, and I said, why don't we create a new model where we can have co-chairs, a man and a woman, a Christian and a Muslim, and we have done so well with your prayers. There is a lot of people I would like to recognize, but because of the time, I will make it very short. But I do want to recognize what my father has taught me, that in doing this kind of work, he said, always digest your ego because it has got good cholesterol. While you have been here in Toronto, we have all worked together, and you know, this is a very large conference, and we as human beings, we can make mistakes, and there might be some mistakes we might have made. And today, on behalf of my co-chair and my entire board, I would like to humbly say that if we have made any mistakes, please forgive us. I hope you do. And in the process of our discussion, what I have told you about the spiritual air miles, please use them because they will become handy for you in your life. Lastly, I just want to tell you a small story in one sentence. In India, an 89-year-old man was planting mango seeds, and the kids were laughing at him. At the age of 89, do you know that it takes 15 years for it to give fruits? The old man said, you are so right. All these 89 years, I have eaten these mangoes. They were grown by somebody else. So keep up the good work. Continue. The journey has just started again. And you know, the late Peter Sellers used to say, this is just the ending. You haven't seen the beginning yet. All the time.
In case there's any doubt, I'm not related to Peter Sellers. But I have used that acknowledgement and identity sometimes to say my Uncle Peter, but that I'm not. I want to recognize now two individuals from the Canadian Steering Committee, co-chairs of the Steering Committee, who'd like to express gratitude to their workers. And this is Reverend Michelle Singh, an interfaith minister here in Toronto, and Reverend John Joseph Mastandrea. And they will come and share their thoughts. President.
As you're told, we have 5 minutes. We'll keep it short. I celebrate the gift of bringing greetings from United Church of Canada and Metropolitan United, where I serve as minister. The promise of inclusion, the power of love. The prophet Daniel wrote many years ago about a vision of a tree that stretched from earth to heaven, where all birds would land in its branches. It would produce fruit in all seasons of the year, and all creatures would find shade under its shelter. In the grit of the promise is the low-hanging fruit of the volunteers, hundreds and hundreds of hours in time. We give you thanks. The staff who worked diligently hard from the very beginning to the very conclusion of this moment in time. The assemblies, the voice, the people, the Lodge of Nations, the Langar meals, the sacred spaces. Continues as the seas that encompass the sacred DNA of transforming grace. Suzanne Morgan gave us the tradition and we carry the legacy of sharing sacred spaces, 4 places in the US and 1 place in Toronto and hopefully the world, where we will sit down at the same table and learn from each other the promise of inclusion, the power of love. Rumi once said, "We are the flute and the music in us from thee. We are the mountain, the echo of in us from thee." The promise of inclusion, the power of love today, as we see for the first time in each other, being children of God. And I want to thank especially my co-chair, Michelle.
Good morning. Good morning, Michelle. John Joseph covered most of our thank yous. I would only like to add a sincere and heartfelt thank yous to all of the subcommittees that made up the steering committee. These extraordinary people donated their time, their effort, their resources to make this Parliament as extraordinary as it has been for everyone present. I also want to take a moment to thank John Joseph, thank the volunteers who you're seeing with the purple shirts. Also, all the people behind the scenes that you probably haven't seen out in the hallway. The tech staff that's running all of this room and the sessions for us. The media people, the photographers, thank you all. It takes a village, and it took an enormous village to accomplish this Parliament. What I would like to end with is a reminder and build on what some of the other speakers said earlier. Every single person in this room is a leader. I am hoping that people leave the Parliament, certainly with the high that the Swami spoke of earlier. I'm also hoping that you leave here challenged, that you go back out into your own communities and you look for the part that you can play to create the world we've all been talking about this week. What part will you play in creating a world that is just, sustainable, and peaceful for all? Thank you.
So many staff persons who have made a tremendous impact on what we've done. They've been working solidly for more than 2 years and probably for 3. I'd like to recognize staff members both from Chicago and from Canada, and as you're making your way to the stage, I'd like staff members to come onto the stage. I'd like to recognize three who have been not as visible, and they are people that have made our plenaries and assemblies more wonderful. And that would be our producer from California, Jeremy Fackenthal. Jeremy, are you there? And maybe in the back. I'd like to recognize our stage manager, Louise Glasgow. All of the production team who worked with Jeremy and Louise from all over, and if you just went backstage, you would see all kinds of computers and equipment and things that help to make all of this possible, and I thank all of them. And then in a very special way as well, I'd like to thank our music director for this conference, Jacqueline. Now, as we continue to recognize staff, I call upon the COO of the Parliament in Chicago, Randall Hamburg.
Thank you. And before I thank the staff, I just want to wish everybody a happy Diwali. It's the festival that symbolizes victory over darkness and the victory of hatred over love.
Wait.
But what's that? Oh my God, my first time talking to more than 100 people. Maybe I could just quote some Shakespeare. I really, though, in all sincerity, I really want to thank the joint U.S. and Canadian staff, the volunteers, for their tireless work. One of my pet peeves is I hate when people use the word literally, misuse the word literally, but when I say this staff has been working literally tirelessly, I mean it. I woke up one night, come on, give it up, give it up. I woke up one night at 2 in the morning and thought of an email I needed to send out. I sent it out. I think I got 3 or 4 immediate responses. So, I know the staff. You all have seen the staff. I know they're exhausted. Their feet are killing them. But I want to reach out and thank all of you, because I think that you have given them the experience of a lifetime. I know they come back from a day of work and they talk about how energized they are. They met these people at the Langar, or they just helped this person with a problem. And I think that you all deserve a hand too. It reminds us of why we work so hard, and my hope of hopes is that the experience that you guys have had makes you want to come back and do it all over again, not for a little while. And I'm going to get in trouble with Rob and with Larry, but I'm declaring, since this whole crew pretty much worked on Labor Day, I'm declaring this coming Monday to be the Parliament Labor Day. Spelled with a U. As one of my newest friends for hopefully forever told me, that one of the reasons that she has come to so many parliaments is because this is where people act the way they should act, in a loving, inclusive environment. And once again, I thank you all. You've kept us optimistic. You've kept us energized. Thank you guys. I mean, this wouldn't have happened without you, and without, I'm supposed to be good at math, but without 110% effort, so thank you.
It's my privilege now